The ground trembled violently beneath his feet, the world splitting open and chaos's buildings screamed and crumbled like paper. Amid the dust and roaring destruction, a single voice pierced through the storm, a woman's desperate cry for help. Without a second thought for his own safety, Daniel sprinted into the collapsing street, his heart pounding, his mind consumed with only one thought: someone needs me. He didn't know that this one act of selfless courage would cost him his job, but also change his life forever. Before we dive deeper into this emotional true-to-life story, make sure to hit like, leave a comment about what kindness means to you, and subscribe to Kindness Universe for more stories that restore your faith in humanity. Daniel was a 34-year-old single father living in a quiet suburb outside Los Angeles. Life had never been easy for him, but he wore his struggles with quiet pride. His wife, Emily, had passed away from cancer 3 years ago, leaving behind their 7-year-old daughter, Lily, a bright, curious little girl who had her mother's smile and her father's unshakable heart. Every morning, Daniel would wake before dawn, pack Lily's lunch, kiss her forehead, and head to his job as a construction site supervisor downtown. He didn't earn much, but it was enough to keep their small, weather-worn house standing, their fridge stocked, and Lily's laughter alive. His world revolved around her, every tired smile, every bedtime story, every dream he quietly sacrificed so she could have a better life. That morning started like any other. The sun rose pale and gold over the city, and Daniel was sipping his coffee while tying his boots when Lily ran up and hugged him tight. "Daddy, don't forget, my school play is tonight," she reminded him with a grin. "Wouldn't miss it for the world," he promised. "Front row seat. Just for you." He left for work, unaware that the world he knew would be reduced to rubble within hours. By noon, the sky had turned gray, heavy with the strange stillness that often comes before disaster. Daniel was on the 10th floor of a half-built office building, checking beams with his crew, when the first tremor hit. At first, it was just a low rumble, like a passing train. Then the ground buckled. Tools clattered to the floor, concrete cracked, and men screamed as the building swayed violently. "Earthquake! Everyone get out!" Daniel yelled, his voice raw against the chaos. He grabbed one of his crew members who had frozen in terror and dragged him toward the stairwell. The descent was hell, dust choking the air, walls shaking, and the thunder of collapsing metal behind them. When they finally burst onto the street, the sight stole his breath away. The city was a nightmare. Cars crushed, storefronts split open, people running in panic. That's when he heard it, a woman's voice, faint but distinct, trapped beneath a pile of debris near a collapsed cafe. "Help! Please, someone!" Daniel didn't think twice. He tossed off his helmet and sprinted toward the wreckage. Others yelled for him to stop, that it was too dangerous, but his heart drowned them out. He clawed through broken bricks and twisted steel, ignoring the cuts tearing into his arms. After what felt like an eternity, he found her, a young woman pinned beneath a fallen beam, her face streaked with blood and dust. "I've got you," he gasped, straining to lift the beam. Pain shot through his back, but he didn't stop. Inch by inch, he freed her legs, then carried her out into the open, shielding her as another aftershock rippled through the ground. By the time paramedics arrived, his clothes were torn, his hands bleeding, and his phone smashed. Still, when the woman was safely loaded into the ambulance, he smiled weakly. "You're going to be okay," he said. She tried to thank him, but he just shook his head. "Just go." He didn't even catch her name. When Daniel finally made it home that evening, Lily ran into his arms. "Daddy, you're okay." "I was so scared," she sobbed. He held her tight, whispering, "I'm here, baby, I'm here." But as the adrenaline faded, reality hit him hard. His phone had been destroyed, and he'd missed every call from his boss. The next morning, when he showed up at work, the office was in chaos. The manager, Mr. Reynolds, pulled him aside, scowling. "Daniel, where were you yesterday when the evacuation alarms went off? You were responsible for that section." "I was helping someone trapped outside," Daniel explained, still limping slightly. "There was a woman." "I don't care about that woman," the boss snapped. "We lost equipment, you abandoned your post, and the client's furious. You're done here. Hand over your badge." Daniel stared at him, stunned. "You're firing me. After everything that happened." "Company policy," Reynolds said coldly. "You're lucky you're walking out instead of being sued." The words hit like a punch. He walked out in silence, the weight of failure pressing down. He sat in his old pickup truck for a long time, staring at his calloused hands. They had saved someone's life, but couldn't save his own stability. He thought of Lily, of her school play that night, and the tears he'd have to hide when he told her that Daddy didn't have a job anymore. By sunset, the neighborhood was quiet. Daniel sat on his porch, staring at the fading light, Lily curled up next to him with her stuffed rabbit. "It's okay, Daddy," she said softly. "You always tell me that good things come when you do the right thing, right?" He smiled faintly. "Yeah, sweetheart, they do. I just don't know when." Then, faintly at first, came the sound of engines. One, then another, then several more, echoing down the street. Daniel frowned and stood up. Headlights appeared at the corner, sleek, low, and gleaming even in the dusk. One by one, 10 Ferraris, red, silver, black, and white, rolled slowly down his narrow street and stopped right in front of his house. Neighbors peeked through windows in disbelief. Lily gasped, "Daddy! Are they here for us?" The car doors opened almost in unison, and men in suits stepped out. Then, from the lead car, the woman Daniel had rescued stepped forward, her legs still bandaged, but her smile radiant. "Mr. Carter," she said, her voice trembling. "You probably don't remember me, but you saved my life yesterday." Daniel blinked, stunned. You're the woman from the cafe." She nodded. "My name's Isabella Ferrari." She gestured behind her at the cars. "My family owns the Ferrari dealership chain in California. We've built cars our whole lives, but no machine compares to the heart of someone like you." He stood frozen, unsure what to say. "You don't owe me anything. I just did what anyone would have done." "No," she said softly, her eyes glistening. "You did what no one else did. People ran away. You ran toward danger. You gave me a second chance at life, and I intend to make sure you and your daughter get the same." From the back of one car, her assistant pulled out a briefcase. Inside was a check, more zeros than Daniel had ever seen, and a letter offering him a new job, head of safety and operations at Ferrari North America. Isabella smiled. "You've proven what real leadership looks like, Mr. Carter. Compassion and courage. Those are things money can't buy. But we'd be honored to have a man like you on our team." Lily's eyes widened as she whispered, "Daddy, are we rich?" Daniel laughed through his tears, kneeling beside her. "No, sweetheart, we're just blessed." Over the next weeks, the story of Daniel Carter went viral. News crews came, journalists called, and strangers sent letters of gratitude. But Daniel didn't seek fame. He only wanted to remind people that sometimes doing the right thing costs you everything, but gives you something far greater in return. He watched Lily's school play from the front row that night, just like he promised. When she saw him in the audience, she waved and grinned so wide it melted his heart. As the curtain fell, Isabella approached him quietly. "I meant what I said," she told him. "The world needs more people like you." He looked at her and smiled. "Maybe it just needs more people who believe in kindness." If his story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Universe, where real stories remind us that humanity is still alive. That night, as Daniel tucked Lily into bed, she asked, "Daddy, do you think Mom saw what happened today?" He brushed her hair back gently and whispered, "Yeah, baby, I think she did. And I think she's smiling right now." Outside, the street was quiet again. The Ferraris were gone, the night air calm. But in Daniel's heart, something had shifted forever. The man who lost everything by doing the right thing had gained something money could never measure: faith, purpose, and a reminder that kindness always finds its way back home. And as the stars glimmered above their little house, Daniel realized that sometimes the universe doesn't forget those who risk it all for love. It just waits for the perfect moment to return the favor.